In this video, I'm going to show you how the Fore Play Golf guys stand too close to the ball, which compromises their golf swing and scores. So in this video, I'm going to show you Riggs and Trent. Haven't looked at the other guys yet. So what do I mean by standing too close to the ball? So pretty much everybody sets up to the golf ball the way we were taught by pros. Pros were taught how to do this, and this is how they teach amateurs. So you set up to the ball this close. You can see if A stands for the downswing plane line or the impact swing, the impact plane line. So you can see when you have your arms hanging down vertical from your shoulder, you got an angle with your club. If you were to straighten out your arms so the club and your arms are straight from your shoulders, your driver is going to be probably 6 inches or more into the ground. In order to get out of the way, you have to have a professional, for your body to get out of the way so you can swing the club, you have to have professional flexion and rotation, really acrobatic skills. And very few people can do this. Some pros and elite amateurs are able to do professional Quasimodo. And there's an amateur Quasimodo. I'll actually show you Riggs does amateur Quasimodo a little bit. Most people stand up. Most amateurs stand up as they get to impact. So I'll show you how this works and the problem that obviously comes from doing that. So here's Riggs. So I came across this video as I was just checking out various golf videos online. So the question was, can Riggs break 80 at Payne's Valley, which means Riggs can obviously break 80. But it's not a common thing, most likely. Now, the reason why I would say this is because you can see his arms are straight down. I mean, look at how much angle there is there. So really, he should be placing the ball out about here, maybe here. So what happens when you stand this close to the ball? Well, if you do not have dynamic rotational movement skills, you're going to stand up during impact. Now, Riggs stands up during the takeaway. Now, is this enough for him to strike the ball efficiently? So you can see what I did here, it's right along the headline, and he stands up, well, good 3 or 4 inches. And so now he starts to swing. He's halfway in the downswing, and you can see his hat hasn't gotten any higher because he has created a cervical and upper thoracic flexion position, but now he goes onto his toes. So he stays in this position as he strikes the ball. So you can see the adaptation that Riggs does to strike the ball efficiently because he stands too close to the ball. So what should he do, which is exactly what I have done and what every other amateur should do, is back up from the ball. When you stand this close to it and you're an amateur, you will suffer from the amateur golfer's dilemma, which is multiple swing faults and erratic play. So to stand this close requires dynamic rotational skills that are really acrobatic in nature. Just watch Lexi Thompson. She actually dynamically rotates, bends, and jumps backward from the ball. It's stunning to watch. So how far should you back up from the ball? Well, I back up this far, and I think most amateurs should at least try this. And the way you find out what your proper distance from the ball is that you take pre and post, well, you videotape your swing, and then you take screenshots of setup, top of backswing, and impact, and you want to make sure that your head does not go above the line that you establish at setup. It is that simple, really, really very, very simple. So Riggs is one of the better, I forget the other guy's name, Riggs, and I think they call him Lurch, right? So Riggs and Lurch are the two better golfers, and Trent is the poorest golfer trying to break 100. So these two videos are there. This was when he broke 100, and you can see the party that these guys had. So Frankie's on his back, they're all really excited, but the problem for old Trent is that because he sets up like this, he will always struggle to break 100. Now, it kind of surprises me, but not really, is that these guys have played golf with major tournament PGA players and a couple of great LPGA players, one of them being Danielle Kang. So you can see all their names, Johnson, Morikawa, and right on down the line. And none of these guys have ever said, hey, back up from the ball, because people just don't think about it. They think, well, this is the proper setup. It's only the proper setup if you have dynamic rotational movement skills. Otherwise, it is an absolute disaster. So Trent takes it back. Good posture there. He keeps his posture. Looks great, but he does not have dynamic rotational skills. So at impact, he stands up. So let me show you. I'm going to compare setup to impact now so you can see. So here are some lines. Now, good, well, pros who can rotate properly, you're going to actually see a big chunk of their left glute as they're going through the ball, reflecting the fact that they're literally moving their glutes backwards while they're rotating, which gives them room enough to swing the arms past the body and the club past the body. So look what happens with Trent. You can see he comes off of both lines that I set up on the glutes and by the chin, and notice how he stands up on the headline. So Trent, like Riggs, like the other guys, like I, like you, need to back up. How far do we need to back up? Most amateurs would do well to test this out for a while. Now, initially, what happens is that swing plane changes occur a little bit. Well, big deal. And by the way, just because you set up like this does not mean you have to have a one plane swing. You can take the ball further outside and do a little loop move if you want. So you're not required to do a one plane swing. Just making setup impact will change. Most golfers can drop their handicaps just by standing back from the ball to suit their movement skills by 5 strokes, maybe 10 strokes, just by doing that alone. The other big thing would be cutting down the length of the driver. So Trent typically doesn't hit driver because it's longer, more difficult to control, so he should cut down the length of his driver until he's comfortable with his new setup position. So these are 2 of the key things that amateur golfers can do. Cut down the length of the driver and stand back a little bit further. If you do not do that, particularly standing back further, you will never free yourself of the amateur golfer's dilemma. So if you want to learn more about the amateur golfer's dilemma, all you got to do is go to Amazon, put in the amateur golfer's dilemma, and you can check out the book. You can look inside to see if it is right for you. And if you have Kindle Unlimited, it should definitely be right for you.